Well, hello everybody. Didn't expect to see me today. Happy New Year. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you. I got a lot of new subscribers. Why or how I'm getting them, I have no idea, but I appreciate them. And I haven't done a tour of the cellar since I had a couple of hundred subscribers. Now I don't know. I'm up around 16, 1700, which is I'm thrilled to death. Not that any of the old ones are still with me, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is a quick little tour uh, to show you the cellar, and uh, and hopefully this year will be a happy year. Certainly wasn't last year, but that's the past. Now let's all move on, and hopefully silver will start shooting up, and everybody will be happy. But let me show you how I live like a mole and like it. Okay, we'll start. We'll start with I was watching this home TV, the network. They were just showing the Caribbean islands and all. But anyway, being I couldn't get anybody down here to tell me if I'm on target, which I usually aren't. Here's my usual stacking uh, of, of my refrigerator down here. I have a complete kitchen and all upstairs, and if I have somebody over for dinner, then I go up there and cook. But other than that, mainly I can get by down here on microwave stuff, or I can go upstairs and cook something quick. So got a nice supply of goods in for the season. Now Jimmy likes Pabst, and I like little bottles of Rolling Rock because they're that's all I like. I don't drink much beer anymore, so 7 ounces is fine. And then I try to keep some beer in for John. So we got some St. Pauli girl for John. Oops, that's all I need. There's a landslide here. And then Jimmy also, and some of my other friends like Coors. And I like cheap champagne. And I got a couple bottles of Coors Bell and some Aussie. And then my favorite is the cheapest, this Andre Extra Dry. Anyway, root beer flavored crap. This is mainly the food one. I see I got some sliced turkey, which with my teeth this is just perfect for it till I decide to get them damn things out. Some cheese poppers, some pulled pork, the usual. I do eat a lot of yogurt. This Okios or whatever it is, this Greek yogurt is really delicious. Comes in any flavor you'd like. And today I discovered these damn little pizzas cook up nice and just ideal for just a little hunger. They're only $1 a piece. And then this refrigerator is always cold. You can see I'm hiding my Rolling Rocks. My friends were coming over there, and they usually drink 4 or 5 regular sized beers, and they come over and suck down these things in a couple of minutes, and then ready to suck down another one. So I had to put this kibosh on that because every time I wanted a Rolling Rock, they were all gone. Now I asked them if they wanted me to get big Rolling Rocks, and they said no. Anyway, so there's a little Contreau, Kahlua, cherry coffee, Benedictine B&B, and then some cherry vodka. This was a mistake, but it turned out all right. Coconut chocolate vodka. I thought it was coconut, and when I got it home, I found out it was chocolate. So then me and Jimmy started making hot cocoa and putting in a couple of shots of that stuff. And then, of course, I gotta have a juice of a couple of limes a day, and at least 1 or 2 bananas a day. This is all just crap. Of course, my dog Cage. He only goes in there when he's bad, when he's down and he's bad. And then I put him in, shut the door. Otherwise, he just runs down, eats his food, and lamb and rice, and that's it. No, I microwave my glasses. But this is what a dump I keep it. My friend Pablo and John, they love York peppermint patties, so I'm not allowed to eat many of them because I got stage 2 diabetes. and then everybody likes these Werthers, so I keep them around. Trey, he's a big fan of these peanut butter Nutter butters, so I keep them for Trey. When I do eat chocolate, I try to eat the 90%, so I don't get that much sugar with it. And I think everybody's seen, this is where some of my shell collection is. Detour side. This is some fossils and some shells, and all the coral you'll see, regrettably, I plucked from, let's see, would be the northwest coast of Maui back in 64, so I wouldn't do it again. But I thought of that. Something I would really like to do is go to the Caribbean or someplace and raise, you know, they're doing it now, and raise coral. There's a photo I took years and years ago. I don't know how well that's coming out. It says marijuana plant, and it has joints hanging from a plant. Years ago, I used to, when I come back from college, I used to do custom-made furniture. Mostly, in those days, it was a raised bed. You could build a platform for a bed up about, anything from 10 inches to 18 inches, depending on what they wanted, and then you'd make a customized headboard for it. But I also used to knock these things out and sell them at craft shows, checkerboards and oh Jesus, what the hell? Oh Jesus, I used to play that thousands of times. How stupid of me! Everybody knows what it is, and they'll come to me as soon as I turn away from it. Anyway, okay. Well, then here's some first of the fossils. Wait a second, I'm stuck up on this, hung up on things here. These are the fossils that I collected myself up in North Jersey. That's a one-day trip. I've bribed a lot of my friends, taking me up there, pay for gas and lunch and things, and then they get to keep what they find. So, and here's most of these are from Morocco. A couple of them are from Germany, mostly ammonites. Some of them 400 million years old. And then, of course, everybody knows I love trilobites. So I got a bunch of trilobites, mostly on the other side, that they come in all shapes and sizes. So you'll see, it's another ammonite from Morocco, cut out and polished. These are fossils that I found in Maryland. Now, it's strange because there's tons of these down there. These are 27 to 35 million years old. But they say, oh, well, that's just a scallop. Well, it is a scallop, but it's a fossil of a scallop. It's a fossilized scallop. And there's so many of them, and people don't appreciate them as fossils because everybody gets a hard on for shark's teeth, and there's tons of shark's teeth in there. But this is Maryland. I usually go down there for 3 days, so if anybody wanted to try a little venture, that would be a good one, and then we could see how we got along after 3 days before we go. That's a backgammon board. How stupid of me. And of course all the stupid paintings, all the paintings I did. That's a gourd painted that with Alexander the Great's face on it. That's the first one I did, and I liked that so much. Of course, then that's when I went over and did that one. But as you see, pretty congested. But that's the way it is. You know, I know where everything's at down here, so it's not that congested for me. But I'm sure everybody else would clean things up a little. Now we'll go over to the other side. Let me get my cord all ready to go. Or while I'm watching this program on on living in Hawaii, HGTV. I just love that program. They just had one on how cheap some houses are down in the Caribbean, and particularly in St. Croix. So I was happy. Picture, of course, picture of my dog. Best friend I got. My desk. At least it doesn't have. Used to have like 20, 25 ounces of silver on it, but I got rid of that, and it's still a junk mess. This is a recent addition since I did a video last. I brought this down from upstairs to make a little cleaner look upstairs. Amazing how Indians, this is from India, how they make those things so cheaply. And then of course all this is Mexican onyx. This is Brazilian geode, amethyst geodes, orthocaris from Morocco again. And let's see how much line I got. Got enough to come down to the corner here. What the hell this shower head is doing there, I don't know. But these are just parts of woolly mammoth teeth. Again, trilobites, all kinds of trilobites. Almost all of those are Moroccan. Ammonites. Some of the ammonites are from Germany, and some are from Cornwall. And then here's my petrified wood, and I think I showed this beautiful fern fossils that Jared sent me for Christmas. How nice! I want to thank him again. Now this here is a game called Cogito. I invented back in the I guess early 70s, or I'm saying 90s, because I trademarked it in 92 or 3, but I would have been much better had I not invested in my comics and had I invested in this game instead and tried to push that. There's another board. That's a Cogito board I made, and below it is another board, another checkerboard. But fool and his money are soon parted. So I went into the comic business instead. Should have went into the board business. So, and these are the lovely but fragile. Look at that! Just picking it up, it busted. Fragile fern fossils. This whole pile that Harley slaved the boy. Everybody's a boy under 40. The boy that did that worked up in Alberta, and this year at the tar sand place, and he's the one that made me. I sent him a piece of that, and then he for sending that to him, he made me this arrowhead out of it. I mean, just beautiful. And then this axe head, which was about twice as big, up to the last couple of hits, and then it cracked in half. And then he made this out of a piece of glass. I mean, he does just beautiful work. And then, of course, there was plenty left over, I guess, for him to make 100 or so arrowheads. And then the arrowheads in this box are all arrowheads that I found when I was out in Oregon. And then these other, every arrowhead on this table here, with the exception of those 3 that Harley made, are all genuine Indian arrowheads. And a lot of them are rhyolite, this duller form here, and then a lot of them are quartz, which is really hard to work. I don't know how they ever did it. That slice with all the quartz on it, that's a slice of ancient palm. That's from Brazil. This is a Sinohydrosaurus, which they don't allow out of China anymore. And I paid $100 for that, and they're going for over $500 now, because they don't allow them to be exported anymore. Chinese water dinosaur. And then more ammonites with orthocaris in it. This is Moroccan. Now I'm sure they cut these off and then make those things. This was the great mystery of last year. A fossil that some friend of mine gave me 30 years ago, and we never were sure what it was. And the best we can do, and anybody else, is that it seems to be an extinct small walrus. And then, of course, all the paintings I did, and these are all arrowheads that were recently napped. And that a napper is a person now that makes modern that makes arrowheads in the same way that the Indians made them. But what beautiful work they did! And that's one of my better paintings. I think that fish down there. And these are all my paintings. More stuff that I brought back from Hawaii. I should never have done it. Look at this. Imagine how big this turtle was. This is a piece of a fossilized turtle shell. Imagine how thickness of that shell, how big that sucker must have been. And then there's some fossils that I've traded with people from around the country for silver. And anybody has some nice fossils and they want some silver, let me know. I don't know why I'm still collecting them, but I am. These are mostly shark's teeth, some of which I found, most of which I bought. And a bunch of crystals. These are from a friend, Mr. Abnormal. Mr. Abnormal T is his moniker. These are all from Cornwall. It's the only place that has the iron pyrite, the pyrite fossils. This is German, but all these little ones and these are all from Cornwall in England. And then here's I always hear me talk about the ammonites, and here's the modern version is a chambered nautilus. A couple more shells. And it's just I really do need some more space. All this petrified wood, almost all of it, come from Texas. A couple of guys I was trading with in Texas. Here's another thing. I used to make custom little coffee tables. We used to go down and cut our own trees, dead trees, take them over to the sawmill, and then make crazy things out of them. And of course, there's some more gourds painted like snakes. There's a gourd done up like an Indian basket. And then of course, everybody's been with me for a while knows that I lost a lot of money on doing these. I wrote these comics in the 60s. I wrote the stories, and then I made comics out of them in the early 90s. And here I like this page because most of the kids whose faces you can see here all were kids that worked for me at the time, and I asked them if they wanted to be in a comic, and they had permission from their parents. So there's Pablo, there's Jimmy, a couple other people you don't know. So they all ended up in the comic. This artist did beautiful work, but very expensive. So there was a series of 4 of them called The 60s Back in Time, and the first was Rocky's Inferno, a takeoff on Dante Allegro's first Renaissance writing, The Inferno. And then there's 2 Adventures of Rocky Marijuana Seed, which I think the interest in marijuana would make terrific movies. And then the last one, In Search of Mr. Freak. Now I also did a lampoon on Howard Stern, and it took three of them because I wanted the first one to get interest, and then they were continuing stories. So I figured by the 3rd one, well, I sent Howard a copy of the first one, and then I heard from every Jewish lawyer in Long Island threatening to sue my balls off and threatening to take me to Superior Court in New York if I distributed them, and I couldn't afford that. It would have been tens of thousands of dollars just to go, even though I would have automatically won the case. So anyway, that's the Springfield. That's the old pistol, and that's about it. All the paintings I said were mine. Here's this is a little interesting, and back in the old days, the 60s, you could do something like this. This map, I don't know how well you can see it, but this map is every place I went before I turned 20. Most of it I did while I was 19. And you just stick your thumb out and go someplace, run out of money, you work for a while, and then go someplace else. And then I worked for a while in Arizona, came back in, and then three of us, a guy from Texas, a guy from Kentucky that were working there, and myself, bought a Jeep, and in the spring we did all the national parks and went to Alaska. It was some of the best times of my life. These are, but you can't do that now because, well, by 19 I've been to 49 states, by 21 all 50, and by 23 around the world. But you can't do that now because you never know who's going to pick you up. But that just gives you a rough idea of my living quarters. And everybody says, well, why don't you move upstairs? Well, it's just too comfortable, and upstairs is nice and neat in case somebody comes over, and downstairs I wouldn't even want to think about having to reestablish all the shit upstairs. But anyway, so I know this is super long, and I appreciate everybody that stayed with me, and let's really make this a Happy New Year.